What's up, everybody? My name is Kyron Chase, and SummerSlam was really weird last night. I've been trying to wrap my head around whether I like this show or not. It had some pretty good matches, but some duds too. I I mean, I didn't review it last night because I didn't get to watch the first half of the show, so I decided to rewatch it today. And I kind of wish I had just stuck to the second half. I don't usually talk about the pre-show, and I'm still not going to talk about it. And I'm not even going to give it a grade. But I did see the tag team title match between the Usos and the New Day. And why was this match left off of the main show? It was such a really good match. I would have substituted this for another match, but I'll save that for later. All right, the first match of the night: John Cena versus Baron Corbin. I don't think I should care about this match if John himself didn't. It said one of the most entertaining parts of this match was John goofing around, controlling conducting the "Let's Go Cena Chuck Sucks" chants, and going over there goofing off with JBL's head. That stuff was more entertaining in this match. It seems like Baron Corbin really is in the doghouse. He's really gonna get buried. And the sad thing is, on one hand, this ends John Cena's 60 losing streak of losing at SummerSlam. But at the same time, it breaks the streak of having great matches at SummerSlam. Think about it. He's had arguably a top 2 match at SummerSlam at 2011, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And now this was a weak match. I think John, this is a waste of John Cena. And it's sad that John Cena, of all people, felt like an afterthought at SummerSlam. He was goofier than normal, not as focused. Corbin looked good at times as an angry heel, but they could have done so much better with him. Following his failed cash and an underwhelming loss, you can tell this is kind of a burial. And I'm not going to say, oh, Cena buried Baron Corbin. I'm not going to say that because this is just bad booking in general. And a part of me felt like, but the problem is, it did have some decent moments. But nothing about this match made up for it. I'll give this match a C-. Next up, Natalya versus Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. At time, this match started off pretty well, but got slower but it slowed down a little bit. Natalya was really good as a vicious heel here. Naomi didn't get to play the gutsy babyface enough, but this did show how good Natalya is and how dangerous she is. And surprisingly, Natalya won the match. Some highlights of this match, they won an apron and Natalya catapulted Naomi into the ring post. Naomi hit a springboard leg drop while Natalya was caught up between the ropes, which kind of contrived because Natalya was holding on to the ropes. But seeing Natalya win, while I was upset because Naomi really should have won, she does deserve it. All the terrible stuff she's been put through, like all the bad booking and things like that. She's one of the most underutilized women in WWE. So I think she does deserve it. But at the same time, I felt like, her character's kind of in the toilet. And you could tell the crowd didn't really care as much as Natalya and Naomi tried. And it was a good match, but nothing special. The problem with this match, like I said in the prediction video, and I think I said on the Wrestling Ramble as well, this is more built around Carmella cashing in, and whether Naomi and Natalya, they never even had one promo together. Oh no, they did have one backstage segment, but that's it. There was nothing. There was nothing these two ever did to get the build up to the match, and you could tell it really suffered from it. The finish on Natalya locked Naomi in a sharpshooter. Naomi flipped her into the turnbuckle and went for a split-legged moonsault, but Natalya got her knees up and put her back in the sharpshooter, and Naomi tapped out. I don't really have a high opinion on this match. It wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't good either. With matches like this, I only can give it a C because while it did have some decent moments, nothing good enough to make me give it more than a C. Now we go into the match a lot of people consider the worst of the night, and I probably would agree, but there's probably something worse. I see why they call this match. Next up, Big Show versus Big Cass in a shark cage match with Enzo in a shark cage. This match was not very good, and the crowd let you know by chanting "boring." It wasn't a loud boring chant, but you could hear it. And I'll be honest, the crowd was not, compared to the last 2 years in that same building, the crowd was really weak for a SummerSlam. The crowd was really weak. There wasn't a lot of loud chants or anything like that. But I'll get to something that crowd did later that helped something. Um, Enzo talked from the cage the entire match, which was annoying. Big Show, the story with Big Show is, his hand was broken, so he couldn't really use the KO punches effectively. When he tried to punch him, he did punch him, but he couldn't get the full effect. I will give this, Cass kicked out of a KO punch and a choke slam. The sad thing about this match is the highlight was Enzo stripping down and putting the oil over himself and slipping through the cage bars. That was it. And when he got out of the cage and came down, Cass completely kicked him. This match was slow and, yeah, I don't want to say boring, but it was a boring match. I'm gonna give it a D. Next up, can I even call Randy Orton versus Rusev a match? I'll just go through the whole match right now. Randy comes out, Rusev attacks him. He beats him down before the bell rings. Bell rings, Rusev goes for a kick. Randy goes out the way, RKO, 1, 2, 3. Randy defeats Rusev in 10 seconds. I knew Randy was going to win because, like I said, he lost 4 straight pay-per-view matches, and WWE doesn't like Rusev. But I think he may have been buried worse than Corbin did. At least Corbin got a competitive match and got 10 minutes out of Cena. This match was 10 seconds. What was the point of it? This could have been a perfect SummerSlam angle. I mean, a build-up to this match at SmackDown. That'll work. I really don't have any problem with Rusev losing because I feel like, building, they could have done something like, this could have gone like 10 to 15 minutes and Rusev makes one mistake that cost him the match. I'd have taken that. With having that battleground, Rusev looked better losing at this match here. I'm going to give this match a D-. I was debating on whether or not I would give it a grade since only 10 seconds, but looking at damage, I probably would end up doing a Rusev and seeing how this should have been a better match, I'm going to give it a D-. If the match never started, I wouldn't have given it a grade at all. Now, the first hour of the show was pretty crap, you ask me. Like I said, I gave Cena and Corbin a C-, and that match looked like it damaged Corbin. Natalya and Naomi a C. Big Show versus Big Cass a D. And Orton and Rusev a D-. So looking at it, oh god, this is SummerSlam might be worse than last year. But this is when I think the show started to pick up a little bit. Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for SmackDown Women's Championship. The match started off pretty intense with the two just beating each other in the corner. But Alexa took advantage of it and beat Sasha down. Alexa dominated a lot of the match, trying to choke Sasha and pulling her hand, things like that. Alexa tried to go for a Canadian Destroyer, but Sasha reversed into an Alabama Slam into the turnbuckle, which she got control a little bit, but Alexa then threw Sasha out of the ring and she landed on her shoulder, and Cole made a good point of saying, oh, it's just like how Bayley had injured her shoulder. It's just how Bayley had injured her shoulder earlier. And Alexa didn't start to work on Sasha's arm. Sasha put in a bank statement. But the ending, the match was on its way to being a show stealer, but the ending dragged it down a little bit. Sasha put Alexa in the bank statement. Alexa hit Sasha in the arm to reverse it. Then pinned her. Sasha kicked out, and then Sasha put it right back in the bank statement. Alexa tapped out. On one hand, I'm glad Sasha won, but at the end, I felt the ending could have been a little bit better. So I'm going to give this match a B-. This was easily the best match so far, but that wasn't saying a lot. In fact, nothing else was really all that good on the main show. And before I move on, I forgot to bring up, after the Cass and Big Show match, we got the best thing that happened in the first hour. Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan had a really funny backstage segment, two general match exchanging, saying how which show is going to be better. And then they got in a verbal yes versus no debate. That was mad funny. It just makes a shame that, Daniel has to retire, because the match between Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan would be great. They're both really good in-ring technicians. They both know how to be funny and serious when they need to be. And they both had the comedic chops as shown by this segment. I'm not going to grade that segment, but it was easily one of the highlights of the first hour. And if I didn't mention Big Cass beat Big Show, didn't really care. Next up was Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. This was a fun match. The problem with this match was it was sold on the paint itself. It was sold on the paint, and that's the problem. I feel like the match could have had better build-up. The only they only made us look forward to, the Demon's coming back, but the in-ring action they didn't really care for, which is the problem of giving away the match on Raw. Raw, which was a really good match and better than this one. Once again, this wasn't a bad match by any means, but it didn't do anything. It didn't really add anything. They didn't add anything. Why? It was just simply Bray jobbing out cleanly to Finn, following a decent match, which is the Bray Wyatt formula. Uh, and this has been an ongoing issue. A lot of matches, a lot of matches on the card could have better build up. Like Sasha and Alexa, for example. I tweeted out. You looking at the promo Sasha cut in the Raw Talk after Great Balls of Fire. The fact they didn't really like each other in real life, they could have got some really good promos if they built it up right. And this match too, the build up just hasn't been the best. It was just Finn outsmarting Bray. Bray went for the crab walk, and Finn just popped up and hit him with a sling blade, a drop kick, and then the coup de grace. Once again, this match wasn't bad. It had some good moments. Finn's entrance was pretty good, especially with them playing. He's got the whole world in his hands. Before that, Bray suplexing Finn on the floor, Finn leaping over the ropes on Bray, but there was nothing great about it. This wasn't a thriller, and it's sad how Balor went from competing for the Universal title last year SummerSlam to facing Bray Wyatt this year. I'll give the match a C+. It had some good moments, but once again, nothing special, but had enough to bring it up. Now we finally go into something really great. The Raw Tag Team title match. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Dean and Seth started off working well together, so I guess they weren't gonna, say storyline, They didn't argue at all during this match, which I thought they might do. Like, there might be a miscommunication. They knock into each other, something like that. Seth might accidentally kick Dean, but nothing like that. Sheamus and Cesaro regrouped, and then they attacked. Sheamus hit Dean with a brogue kick on the outside of the ring. He was knocked out for a good probably 5 minutes, and Seth had to play the babyface in Pearl. During this moment, though, Cesaro did something great. The crowd in Brooklyn started playing with a beach ball. Anyone knows me knows I hate beach ball mania. I think you come to the show to watch wrestling, not play with a beach ball. And Cesaro ran in the audience, grabbed the beach ball, and really ripped it up. My love for Cesaro has gone up from that one moment alone. And that one moment is worth watching this match in general. But that doesn't say it's a bad match. It's a great match. And up to this point, the match of the night. When Rollins finally got the hot tag in, Dean came in with came in great. You hit a double suicide dive. But even then, Cesaro and Sheamus retook control of the match with knocking out Seth to the outside and doing a lot of double team moves on Dean, like a double crucifix. Sheamus went for white noise. But before that, though, during the hot tag, Seth hit a really good frog splash on Sheamus, where he jumped over Dean onto Sheamus, but Cesaro broke it up. The finish of the match, Sheamus tried to go for a white noise on Dean with Cesaro on the top rope, but Seth, the springboard Frankensteiner, and flipped Cesaro into Sheamus. This led to Seth kicking both of them, hitting a knee to the face, hitting a knee to Sheamus, and then Dean hitting Dirty D for the 1-2-3. As Rollins and Ambrose are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I feel this is, like I said, up to this point, it's the best match of the night. And I think the beach ball moves would kicked up the intensity of this match. The champions recorded a lot of near falls. Dean and Seth recorded some good near falls. It was definitely what I think started to really help bring the show back. Ambrose looked gutsy, Seth looked gutsy, and I'm glad Rollins and Ambrose didn't do the split up yet. Let it build up. I'm glad they won. I'll give this match. I'm teetering between a B+ and an A-, but I'm gonna give it a B+ in the situation. Next up, Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship. Shane McMahon is a special guest referee. Up to this point, both Styles and Owens matches on pay-per-view are very disappointing, but this was the best one they've had yet. The problem with this match is that it was more about Shane. Heck, Shane was sweating more than Owens and AJ were at one point. The match started off with them fighting before the bell rung. Shane broke it up to start the bell. They had some live back and forth. AJ went for a 450 splash, but Kevin grabbed Shane and put him in the way, so Shane took the brunt of the 450. After that, Kevin hit a pop-up power bomb, but Shane was out of position, so AJ kicked out of 2. Then we got Kevin in one of the funniest lines. He literally told Shane, "You fall off of buildings and you couldn't get back in position for that." That was hilarious. Because I said the same thing. I said if Shane does take a bump, I hope it's not too serious. Because he stays down for like 10 minutes. Because knowing Shane McMahon, he's nearly killed himself and gotten up quicker than that. Both at times they both put their hands on Shane, and Shane didn't beat on neither, like punch neither one. He just shoved them out the way, and I'm glad about that. He didn't attack anyone. Both times it went for roll-ups, but both kicked out. They slugged it out a little bit more. AJ went for a phenomenal forearm, but Kevin ducked, kicked AJ, and hit him with a pop-up power bomb. And Shane counted 3, but luckily he saw AJ got his foot on the rope, and Kevin was angry because he thought he won. But AJ did get his foot on the rope, and Shane did catch his mistake. And this is when Shane finally, he shoved KO. AJ took advantage of it and hit Kevin with a phenomenal forearm and a Styles Clash for the win. This was up now. This was this is the best Styles Owens match we had yet. And while Shane, and I was afraid that Shane would take away from it, but he actually added to it. The smart booking of not having Shane punch anyone, just barely shoving was good. And now this is likely going to lead to Owens versus McMahon, because Owens had a legitimate gripe. Shane counted 3, but AJ got his foot on the rope. I'm going to give AJ and Kevin an A-. Finally, we have a really good match. Well, the Raw Tag Team Title match is pretty good too. And once again, that line of you fall off buildings and get back up, but you can't get over here for a 3 count was hilarious. As much as I was raving up especially the last half of SummerSlam, we get to a negative. Nakamura versus Mahal. The crowd was friendly behind Nakamura here, and Lee England Jr. played him to the ring again. And like I said, I love his violent skills. I'm gonna start listening to some of this. This match was honestly not that good. I'm not saying that because Nakamura lost. I'm saying it's because this is probably his worst match he's had since he's been in WWE. And I didn't like his matches against Corbin at Battleground, or even his match against Ziggler at Backlash. But the problem I have with this match is, 1, Nakamura survived 2 attitude adjustments from John Cena, but 1 Colossus put him down. But 2, and more importantly, the booking from Mahal has become so predictable. They literally copy and pasted the same finish of Backlash and Money in the Bank. Nakamura was going to go for Kinshasa. But both of the Saints got involved. Nakamura gave them both a Kinshasa, and Mahal hit him with a Colossus. A really ugly looking Colossus at that. And he got the 3 count. You mean Nakamura couldn't kick out of that? It was honestly not that good of a match. I'm not saying it's the dog pile on gender. I know he's trying his best. But the highlight of this match was Nakamura's entrance. It was anticlimactic, and the match felt unfinished. And hopefully the ending keeps the feud alive, and hopefully at Hell in a Cell we get a match where the Singh brothers don't get involved. But this is not a good main event for SmackDown. Definitely not a good WWE title match. I was giving a C-. Now with that match, being not that good, we go into the match tonight. The Universal title match, Fatal 4-Way. This match was just chaos at its best. Lesnar, Lesnar floored Joe and Roman. They didn't get us Lesnar versus Strowman immediately because they still wanted to tease a little bit. But Braun Strowman was the MVP of this match. When he went on a rampage, he gave Lesnar 2 running power slams through 2 announce tables, and he flipped the 3rd announce table on Lesnar, which led to Lesnar having to be carted out. Lesnar, while I rag on him for being lazy, he earned that paycheck tonight. He another spot before all that with Braun. Joe put him in the cocaine clutch and moved out and let go of him, and Roman spit him through the barricade. That was a cool spot. Lesnar ended up having to be carted out on the stretcher. Of course, he was coming back. Braun threw another rolling desk chair both Joe and Reigns, and Strowman, like I said, he was the most popular man in this match. Lesnar ended up coming back, and a lot of things happened. You saw Strowman drop kicking Joe and Reigns. You saw Lesnar kicking out of the spear. You saw Braun hitting Joe with a running power slam, but Lesnar pulled the referee out of the ring. This match had your adrenaline pumping from the get-go. And the wrestlers made the best of their environment, breaking tables, barricades, using the steps. Roman threw the steps at Braun, and the back of Braun's ear started bleeding. This match this is what a main event is supposed to be. And the only problem I have is the only one I felt like wasn't going to win was Joe. And he's my favorite. But now it's clear that Strowman versus Lesnar is the feud where the money's going to come. That's the money feud. And I hope that's what's going to happen at No Mercy. Lesnar did win by hitting Roman, of all people, after surviving 3 Superman punches with an F5. But I'm not really mad because it was such a good match. Plus, I needed Brock to win to avoid losing to Kyrie. But that's not about me. This was a great match. It was hardcore, extreme. And once again, this is why I always dog when people say, "Oh, PG sucks." This match is perfectly good, hardcore and extreme, even though it was in PG. I'm gonna give this match an A. It was such a fun match to watch. Now let's go through the final scores. I gave Cena and Corbin a C minus. I gave Natalya and Naomi a C. I gave Big Show and Big Cass a D. I gave Orton and Rusev a D minus. Sasha and Alexa B minus. Balor and Bray Wyatt a C plus. The tag team Raw tag team title match a B plus. Owens and Styles A minus, and Mahal and Nakamura a C minus, and the main event an A. It's hard because I gave a lot of matches a lot of not very good grades, but with the tag team title match, the U.S. title match and the Universal title match, I felt like it was a decent show. The problem is I don't know. Last year I failed SummerSlam. And that had 3 really good matches, and the night had 3 really good matches and some decent ones. So I gave SummerSlam last year a C minus. I'm gonna give this SummerSlam a C plus. While yes, the first hour really did drag and was definitely the worst part of the match, the second hour, for the most part, besides the WWE title match, made up for it. I mean, I know it was like a 4-hour show, but the second half of the show is what I mean. I don't really know what else to say. I'm gonna watch Raw tonight to see what follows up. I'm gonna watch that tomorrow night, but this was just a decent show, okay show, and yeah, of course, Takeover was better. I think I gave it an A minus or a B plus, but you can't really compare Takeover to SummerSlam because they're 2 different things. One is focused on pure wrestling, the other one's focused on more sports entertainment. So I'm not really gonna compare the show. Both shows were good and had good stuff in their own right. I recommend watching both if you're a wrestling fan. But till next time, I'm Kyron Chase, and I will see you guys.